Hunters today are passing more young bucks than ever before, which is great for deer herds and it's fantastic for us as hunters. But as deer get into some of these older age classes, hunters now want to take that next step and say, how can I tell a 1-year-old from a 2-year-old or a 4 from a 5-year-old? And while this is not an exact science, there are certain body features that we can look at to do a really good job at least breaking deer into 3 different age groups. Young bucks, those that are 1 or 2, middle-aged deer, those that are 3 or 4, or mature bucks, those that are 5 to 7 years old. So just like humans, deer go through specific body changes as they start to age. So we can start looking at things like the length of the legs in relation to the depth of the body, the girth of the neck, the musculature in the shoulders, tightness of the waist. And I will run through each of the age classes with you to show you how by looking at these, you can do an awfully good job estimating the age on the hoof. So we'll start with yearlings. Bucks that are 1.5 years old, they really look like a doe with antlers. They're very tall and very lanky. It's because they've put almost all their nutrition into just trying to get some body growth. So their legs look long relative to the rest of the body. They have very little musculature in the chest, real little swelling in the neck, and if you cover their antlers, they essentially look like a doe. Well, by 2.5, they start to grow up a little bit, but their legs still look too long for the body. During the rut, which is the best time of the year to be able to age bucks on the hoof, you're now going to see a little bit of swelling in their neck, a little bit more mass in the chest, but they still have kind of this jacked up appearance where the legs still look far too long for the body. They have a real sleek body and a very, very tight waist. Antler-wise though, pretty big jump. They have 25 to 50% of their antler growth potential by 2.5, which is a pretty big jump from when they were 1. Well, by 3, now they kind of move into those middle ages, and suddenly they start looking like a different animal. They now have a very heavy chest, and the front end for the first time appeals much bigger than the back. They almost look like a racehorse with a real deep chest, but it's still a very, very tight waist. They have a lot of swelling down their neck during the rut, so you start to see some pretty big mass, and the neck is about the same width as their head, but they still have a very lean or sleek appearance in their hindquarters and not a lot of mass in the back end. But another big jump in antler growth. They're now up to 50 to 75% of what they're capable of doing, and this is also when you start seeing some more of the mass and some of the genetic anomalies such as drop tines and sticker points. Well, by 4.5, now you have a whole different animal. They can be structurally mature. Now they have a big, powerful neck during the rut, big, heavy front end and shoulders, and their waist drops down, and it's now even with their chest. So at 3.5, you had that deep chest and a tight waist. At 4, now you have about a straight line between their waist and their chest. So you have much heavier hindquarters on it now. And the legs start to appear too short for the body. Not that their legs have gotten any shorter, it's just that everything's developed down now, so the legs don't look nearly as long as they used to. And you get one more big antler jump. Now, 75 to 90% of their antler growth potential. So from 1 to 4, tremendous gains antler-wise. Then we group the next ones together. Somewhere between 5 and 7 years old is when a buck normally grows its largest set of antlers, and now these deer are fully mature. So you have a lot of the same characteristics that you had at 4 years old, but you add in, they start to get a pot belly and a little bit of a sway back because they're right there at the peak of maturity and just starting to tip down the other side. So whether you choose to start shooting bucks at 2 or 3 or 4 or wait until they're fully mature, hopefully you can use some of these characteristics here to do a better job aging those bucks in the field where you hunt.